Good day everyone. In today's lecture, we'll be discussing about AC bridges. We'll be seeing what is an AC bridge and what is the general expression for solving an AC bridge. We'll also be discussing about what is quality factor, what is dissipation factor, and what are all the basics that is required to sketch the phasor diagrams of AC bridges. We have heard of Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge is a circuit which is used to determine the unknown values of resistance in a circuit. That is, Wheatstone bridge is a type of DC bridge. Now in today's lecture, we'll be going to discuss about what are AC bridges. Now why do we call this bridge to be an AC bridge? Let us see why it is called an AC bridge. That is, here the source of supply that we are using will be an AC supply. Therefore, it is called as an AC bridge. Also, in place of resistance, it is the resistance of the circuit, it is replaced by the impedances. So here we can see here that as in a Wheatstone bridge, here also we have four arms. The four arms are named as Z1, Z2, Z3 and Z4, and here also we have a detector. Now this detector can be a galvanometer or it can be a headphone. Now these detectors are used for the purpose of checking whether the center branch, that is the branch from B to D, any current is flowing through this or there is any potential drop across the path B to D. Now when we are discussing about bridges, a very important concept that comes into our mind is bridge balance condition. Now what is this bridge balance condition? Let us discuss about what is bridge balance condition. Now for the bridge to be balanced, if I am using a galvanometer, the scales of the galvanometer are arranged in this manner. Now I will say my bridge is balanced when the pointer is exactly at 0. When the pointer is exactly at 0, it means that no current is flowing through this path. That is, there is no current flow through this path. So if no current is flowing through this path, it means that the point B and D both are at the same potential, because unless and until there is a change in potential, there will be no flow of current. Therefore, the points B and D are at same potential, and also the current flowing through the path is equal to 0. Now in case if I am using a headphone, there will be no humming sound produced. That is, the humming sound produced will be minimum when the bridge is in balance condition. Now here we can see here that from point A, that is the source is connected. The source supply it is supplying to A, and one point it is connected to the point C. Now here we can see that at A, current I is entering. Now this current I, it is splitting into I1 and I2, then it is flowing further. So if no current is flowing through here, it means that this path there is no current flow. Therefore this current is termed as I3 and I4. So basically looking, I2 and I4 will be equal and I1 and I3 will be equal if no current is flowing across the detector. Then one more thing that we have to keep in mind here is that the potential drop between A and B, then the potential drop between A and D will be equal. That is, the potential drop between AB is E1, in between AD is E2, E3 and E4 in the similar manner. Now if I am telling B and D are at same potential, so that means it is a type of short circuit. So here we can clearly make out the B and D points are the same points only. Therefore at balance condition, E1 will become equal to E2 and E3 will become equal to E4. So these are some of the conditions that we have to keep in mind. Now an AC bridge, it can be used for determining the impedance of a circuit, it can be used for determining the value of inductance of a circuit, for finding out the value of capacitance of a circuit, for finding out the quality factor, for finding out the dissipation factor. So all these quantities can easily be determined using AC bridges. Now let us look at what is the general equation for a bridge balance. Now when I am talking about bridge balance, now when the bridge is balanced, it means that the potential across E1 and E2 will be equal, or the potential across E3 and E4 is equal, or no current is flowing through the center path. So this is the basic condition that we follow for bridge balance. Now what I am writing is, I will either take E1 is equal to E2 or E3 is equal to E4. Now when I am taking E1 is equal to E2, let me consider with E1 is equal to E2. Now let me leave E3 is equal to E4 for a few moments, right? Now what we can clearly make out here is that current I1 is flowing through this path, first arm, and Z1 is the impedance. So we clearly know V is equal to IR. So for this path I can write E1 is equal to I1 Z1. So similarly for E2 also I can write I2 Z2. So I have written this to be here. then I can clearly make it out that now what I am going to do is, I know that the current I1 is equal to I3. Why current I1 is equal to I3? Because it is only one path. No current is flowing through this path. So it means that even if some current was flowing here, I could have written I1 is equal to Ix plus I3. I could have written this, but Ix is value is equal to 0, therefore I1 is equal to I3. So what I am doing is I1 is equal to I3. I am taking I1 is equal to I3. So when I am determining what is the value of I1, I can write it to be the full potential drop, that is the total drop from here to here is E, this voltage of the source, E divided by the resistance Z1 plus Z3. These two will become in series. Therefore current I1 and I3 will be equal to E divided by Z1 plus Z3, right? So in this manner I am writing this to be E divided by Z1 plus Z3. Similarly I2 is equal to E divided by Z2 plus Z4, and we know that E1 is equal to E2. Now what I will do is I will substitute the value of I1 and I2 for this equation in this place of I1 and I2. I will substituting it and solving. I find out a general expression, that is Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3. So this is the very basic expression that we have to keep in mind when we are solving for a AC bridge. Now here the expression is nothing but Z1 Z4 into Z2 Z3. So here we can clearly make out Z1 Z4 into Z2 Z3, that is X. If we keep X in mind, we can clearly write Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3. So even if I am changing the naming of my circuit, I can write it to be Z1 Z3 is equal to Z2 Z4. So I have to keep this cross in mind. So this is the very basic expression that we are using for bridge balance condition. Now let us write this in terms of admittance. So I know Z is equal to 1 by Y. So writing the same thing, I can clearly find out Y1 Y4 is equal to Y2 Y3, because cross multiplication will take place and the same thing I will be getting. Now when I am talking about AC quantities, it is quite clear that the AC quantities can be in term of polar form or it can be in the term of rectangular form. So if I am using polar form, I will write Z1 is equal to Z1 angle theta 1, Z2 angle theta 2, theta 3, theta 4. Now what I will do is, I know the expression is Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3. So I will substitute the values of Z1 Z4, substituting the values and writing it. So I will get it to be, that is if I am considering only the magnitude part, I will get the expression to be Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3, and if I am considering the angle part, I will get it to be angle of theta 1 plus theta 4 is equal to angle of theta 2 plus theta 3. That is if I am going for if I am considering imaginary terms as well, or if I am considering magnitude and phase as well. So at that moment when I am solving, I will get two equations I will get. So this is the basic thing that we have to keep in mind. Considering magnitudes only, one equation I will be getting. Considering magnitude and phase, two equations I will get. Now let us look at the next thing, that is if I am solving if the impedances are in rectangular form, I will get Z1 is equal to R1 plus JX1. In the similar manner, all the four impedances I will get. I know the formula for bridge balance condition. General expression is Z1 Z4 Z2 Z3. So I will write all these things and I'll solve it. What I'll do is I'll write the real parts together, that is R1 R4 minus X1 X4 is equal to R2 R3 minus X2 X3, and imaginary parts I'll combine together. Combining the imaginary parts, I'll get X1 R4 plus X4 R1 is equal to X2 R3 plus X3 R2. So here also two equations I'll get. So this is the very basic thing that we have to keep in mind. So from this above discussion, we can make out some conclusions we can make out. What are the conclusions that we can make out? The conclusions that we can make out is the real part and the imaginary part should be separated. The real and imaginary should be separated, or the magnitude and phase angle should be separated, and two separate equations should be solved. And the second thing that we can make out is that there should be two unknown quantities from two equations. That is, if I am using two equations, I should have two unknown quantities only. So if more than two unknown quantities are there, then more number of equations are required and I cannot solve it further. So this is the second important point that we have to keep in mind. The third important point that we have to keep in mind is that the two unknowns that I am getting, for example L and R that I am getting, the equation of L when I am writing, there should not be any R component, or if I am writing the equation of R, there should not be L component. This is the third important thing that we have to keep in mind while solving solving for a AC bridge. Now for the AC bridge, these are some prerequisites that are required when we are before starting the discussion about AC bridges. So from here, the main thing that we have to keep in mind is Z1 Z4 is equal to Z2 Z3, and whatever unknown quantities we are finding out, whether it be L or C. If I am finding out L, it should not be in the term, the equation should not have R component. If I am finding out the value of R, L component should not be present in the equation, else that is a failure, because both the quantities are unknown. And how can we determine both the unknown quantities? If they are interrelated or they are sharing the same equation, right? So this is the basic thing that we have to keep in mind while we are going for the solution of a AC bridge. Now before winding up, we have to keep some more things in mind. That is, for drawing the phasors, as we already know, this is a sort of revision. That is, for resistance, we know that voltage and current both will be in same phase. For inductance, voltage will lead the current by 90 degree, exactly 90 degree. That is theoretically, if you are speaking, theoretically speaking, this is possible, but practically speaking, this is not possible. This will not be exactly equal to 90 degree. This will be approximately or near about 90 degree. The next, that is for capacitance. When I am talking for capacitance, I can clearly see that the current is leading. That is, if I keep if I keep this diagram in mind, I can easily, that is V, this is IR, this is IC, this is IL. We have to keep this diagram in mind. So keeping this diagram in mind, we can easily sketch all the phasors that we are having. Now next two important factors that are coming is quality factor and dissipation factor. Now as we know that the inductor that we are talking about, inductor will not only be pure inductance L, it will also have some value of R. Why? Because it is made up of some conducting material, and this conducting material will be having a resistance. Because of that, it will have a value of R. So it is clearly understood that this inductance, it is not only purely inductance, it also has some resistive component in it. Now talking about a capacitor as well, this capacitor also will, that is whatever values I am giving, that is whatever potential drop I am giving, whatever charge I am giving, it will not be completely stored up in this capacitor. Some will be dissipated as heat as well. So based on this, because it is not a pure capacitor or it is not a pure inductor, we have quality factor and we have dissipation factor. So quality factor will be for inductances and dissipation factor will be for capacitance. Now let us see what is quality factor. The definition of quality factor is nothing but Q is equal to XL by R. XL is nothing but reactance by resistance. That is, this is the basic formula that we have to keep in mind. So for whenever we are trying to find out inductance, we will be finding out the quality factor of the coil. The next thing that we are going to determine is the dissipation factor. Dissipation factor is nothing but D is equal to tan del. So we know that tan del is equal to perpendicular by base. Now from this diagram, a phasor diagram I have sketched, that is the total voltage of across the capacitor. That is, when I am talking about a capacitor, it will have a capacitive component and it will have a resistive component. So both these are adding up, that is phasor sum is done, and phasor sum it is giving the final voltage it is giving. Now the final voltage, the angle between the final voltage and the capacitive voltage, that angle is called as del. So this is the perpendicular. The perpendicular is equal to I1 R1. The base, it is equal to I1 by omega C1. Now solving this, I can write it to be I1 R1. I1 will get cancelled out and it will be the D is equal to tan del. I will get it to be omega C1 into R1, or I can write it to be just reactance into resistance, or this can be written as, the quality factor can be written as reactance by resistance. Quality factor, the dissipation factor is nothing but reactance into resistance. Now these are some of the things that we have to keep in mind while we are going to solve a AC bridge.